this time, as you may tell, well, you'll see the title and the thumbnail, but based off what I'm wearing, we're going to be doing a trivia video for all of the soccer, football, football, I'm not sure the other ways to say it, but basically the soccer or football experts out there. We're going to do 25 questions today. It's going to start off with the easiest ones, and it's going to get harder each question. There are sections, so it goes easy, medium, hard, very hard, and then extreme. And we're going to say if you can get 20 out of 25 correct today, you are an expert. But if you don't, that's okay. As long as you get more than, we're going to say 12. So about 50%, then you're smarter than me. That's how we're going to play. So the goal of the game is to know more than I am, or know more than I do. And then try to go for the expert title. And please let me know how you guys do in the comments down below. And let me know if you guys beat me. But today's video is brought to you by Leopold, who has commented on my previous trivia video, letting me know which trivia he wanted to see. And here you go. You're seeing it now. So if you have any ideas for a future trivia video, let me know. It can be anything. I'm down to learn, because I actually learn from these videos, these random facts or trivia. I actually learn because I don't know all of these things. Like even this one today, I'm learning some things. So it could be on any topic at all. So please let me know. And also like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But first things first, let's get into the video, or get into the trivia with the first question, the easy question. These ones you should be able to understand. Also, Leopold mentioned you're a Ronaldo fan, right? I don't know. I am. Just, the first question, here we go. This one seems hard, but because so many trivia like shows and videos mention it, it's become an easy question. Which country won the first ever World Cup in 1930? In 1930. I really like old facts and thinking about, history and things like that. And this is one of the best historical events or facts you can get. Who was the first country to win the World Cup in 1930? Time is up. The answer is, which may surprise some people, Uruguay. Because you would think Brazil, Argentina, Spain, France, Germany, one of those strong, teams. But it's Uruguay, who is also a strong team. I'm not going to say anything bad about them, Luis Suarez, Forlan, Riquelme, I believe. So they have a lot of good players, and they had a great team back in 1930 because they won. Alright, that was the first question. Here's question number 2, which I think is easier than the first one if you didn't know that one. Who is known as the king of football? And again, if you guys don't know anything about soccer or football, just try to guess along. I mean, if you put Ronaldo or Messi in any of these questions, you have a chance of getting them right. So as long as you know 2 soccer players, you could probably answer majority of these questions. But who is the king of football? And unfortunately, your time's up by the way. Unfortunately, it's not known. Well, this person's not known. It's not Ronaldo, although in my heart he is. And it's not Messi. It is the one and only, the Brazilian legend, Pelé. The absolute GOAT of soccer or football. Why? Because he's won, I think, 3 World Cups, I believe. I think Brazil won 5 and he won 3 of those. Imagine being like one of the reasons why a team is like the best team is because you won the majority of them. Like the majority of the trophies. That's actually outrageous. So he's the king of football. Alright, question number 3. Which player has scored the most goals in World Cup history? Again, if you only know a few players, now's your time to say them. And again, some of these questions, the easy questions may be hard for some, and some of the hard questions may be easy for some. It just depends on what you know, and do you know the person with the most goals in World Cup history? Time's up. For question number 3, the answer is, again, not Ronaldo, not Messi, not Pele. It is Miroslav Klose. Klose. The Germany legend. And I think it's because he scored 9 in one World Cup. I don't. Is my thought process correct? I think it's around 9. I could be wrong. But I think in total it was like 14. These numbers are coming to my head. I don't know if they're right. Question number 4. What country hosted the 2014 FIFA World Cup? Which was a good World Cup, by the way. I think my favorite World Cup was probably 2010 with the Waka Waka song from Shakira. That was such a great song, and I think the whole tournament was pretty good. I was also in Portugal on vacation, so we didn't win, so it would have been awesome if we won, but just to be there during that time was actually really, really fun. So, which country hosted the 2014 FIFA World Cup? I didn't mean to bias your answer. It's not Portugal, by the way. I'm just saying, because Portugal loves soccer. To be there during a World Cup is fun, but it wasn't hosted there. Kind of close. It was hosted in Brazil. Shout out to all my Brasileiros. It was Brazil. Now, last question for the easy section. Which club did Lionel Messi play for before joining PSG? Before joining PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, which is a French team. Currently, he plays for Inter Miami. I think his original team was Young Boys. I don't know all of Messi's lore, but I'm pretty sure that was it. And I'm missing one team from all of those. The answer is FC Barcelona. FC Barcelona, where he's most known from being. FC Barcelona, where he's won pretty much everything. FC Barcelona. Alright, that was the easy questions. Hopefully got all 5 right. I feel like you should get all 5 right, because I got all 5 right. So if you got all 5, you're matching me. If not, it's okay. You still have the chance to beat me. All you need is 13 to beat me. Alright, question number 6, the medium category. Which country has won the most UEFA European Championships? Also known as the Euro Cup. Euro Cup. I actually didn't know this. I've witnessed 2 of these. Maybe 3 if you're counting that. But this is a tough one. For my knowledge alone, it wasn't enough to answer this question. The winner of the most UEFA European Championships. It has 2 answers, so I'm going to accept both. Because technically they're tied if you count West Germany as Germany, which we will for this situation. So it's Germany and Spain. I'm going to give you 1 second for a bonus point to tell me how much each of them have won. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said 3, you are correct. They each won 3. And I believe I watched 2 Spain ones. It was 2008 and 2012. Germany, I feel like was recent. In my lifetime, I'm not sure though. That I would have to check. All right. Question number 7. What is the nickname of the Brazilian national team? Brazilian national team. This is a tough one. Again, if you're not Brazilian, you probably don't know. I'm Portuguese, and technically I didn't know. I feel like I could guess. There's 2 answers here, because there's like a more common one, and then there's like the full name. If you could do the full name, I'll give you a bonus point. But the answer is the Selección. Selección. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, it does sound kind of cool though, so that's fine. Selección. 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 A selección. And it says, or Selección Canarinho. 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 It's pronounced like Ronaldinho. Canarinho. But I'm pretty supposed to be Ronaldinho. Canarinho. I should do a video of speaking Brazilian or learning Brazilian. Sorry, Portuguese. Sorry. Oh my god, I'm Portuguese. Why am I saying Brazilian? A video where I'm learning Portuguese. Technically, I could do Brazilian Portuguese version like Boa Noite. That's all I know. I'm trying to think of the other differences in words. You know what I mean. Anyway, next question. Question number 8. Which club won the UEFA Champions League in 1999 with a last-minute comeback? Now, this may be for the older audience, because I don't really know what happened in 1999. I didn't know this team won, but maybe some of you know it, and maybe I should just read up on and watch some of the recaps for older tournaments and older finals. But the club who won is Manchester United, who is the team where Ronaldo pretty much made his name. He started in Lisbon, Sporting Lisbon, played a friendly with Manchester United. Manchester United said, we don't want to face that again. Let's bring him on our team. And so they did. And the rest is history. So, whatever you do in life, take every opportunity as an audition. Do your best, because you never know who's watching or who's going to open their wallet and sign you. Alright, question number 9. Who scored the Hand of God goal? And that sounds like a sick title for a goal. And it would be sick if it was like a fantastic goal or a feat of otherworldly talent. But it is a very controversial goal, and that's your hint. It's very, very controversial. But nonetheless, it was a goal. And nonetheless, this person scored it. The answer for who scored the Hand of God goal is not Messi, but his godfather. I feel like they're related in some way. Anyway, Diego Maradona. Diego Maradona. One of the greatest players of all time. And if you're wondering, the Hand of God is basically, he went up to hit the ball with his head, but his head went up, hit the ball. The ball went in the net. Nobody saw that it was his hand. Well, I guess the referee didn't see it. And they counted the goal. and I believe they ended up winning. So, the hand of God. Alright, question number 10. These medium questions are actually very difficult in my opinion. Which African country became the first to reach a World Cup quarterfinal? Which African country became the first to reach a World Cup quarterfinal? Now I'm gonna say another hand of God moment. Not really, but I think it was Ghana who went. I'm guessing it's the. Was it the quarterfinal? It was a more recent quarterfinal or round of 16 against Uruguay, who was the first winner of the World Cup. And Luis Suarez handballed it. A shot that would have went into the net, and he got a red card sent off, and they got a penalty, but Ghana ended up missing the penalty, and Uruguay won. So it's kind of like another hand of God moment where like he handballed it, they still won. Anyway, the first African country to reach a World Cup final is Cameroon in 1990. Cameroon. I would love to see an African nation go to the final and even win a World Cup. I think that would be really cool. I like the Ghana team. At least I don't keep up with a lot of soccer nowadays, but I like the Ghana team back then. I did like Cameroon for Samuel Eto'o. I believe it was Cameroon, right? Ivory Coast, Drogba. Oh, Ivory Coast. I feel like Ivory Coast should win something. That'd be great. All right, 10 questions done. We're moving on to the hard section with question number 11. Which player holds the record for the fastest hat trick in Premier League history? And if you don't know, Premier League is the English league or the British league. I guess English league, not British league, because UK would be Ireland too, and they have their own league. Anyway, which player holds the record? And here's a hint: it's a more recent player. And another hint, if you need it, it is an African player. What country is he from? I don't know. I don't know what country he's from. But there's your hint. Another hint. He played for Liverpool. The answer is the one, the only, Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane. And this is actually absolutely crazy. I don't know what game this was or when it was, but it was 2 minutes and 56 seconds where he scored 3 goals. Now, I'm trying to think, because I don't think it counts celebration time. Because that would be outrageous. 2 minutes 56 seconds and they celebrated. There's no way. No, that can't be. But either way, to get from the halfway line to the goal takes at least half a minute. The build up and everything. Unless they just let him run through, but I don't think they let him do that. That's absolutely crazy. I don't think anyone is ever going to break that record. If you told me 2 goals in 2 minutes and 56 seconds, I'll be like, okay, possible. 3 goals, that's outrageous. He is a good player though. Alright, what year was the first Women's World Cup held? And I'm gonna say this. Don't sleep on the Women's World Cup. I don't remember which year, but Japan won the World Cup. And watching that whole tournament was amazing. I just remember for that summer, just watching it. I believe it was summer. And it was one of the most entertaining finals and tournament I've ever watched. So I think the women should have more recognition and viewership and all that, because it was a great final. And Canada actually does well in that tournament. They don't really do that well in the men's, although recently they have been. So hopefully they can continue. But the first Women's World Cup was in 1991, which is actually kind of crazy because the first Men's World Cup was 1930. So that's 61 years apart. which shows how far we've come as a society and in sports, which is cool. Alright, question number 13. Which national team is known for the tactical philosophy called total football? Now, I don't know this one. Well, I didn't know this one. I had a guess, but it's wrong. So if you don't know this, that's okay. If you are from this country, that's actually cool. Hello, how are you doing? But the answer is, we're going to go quickly through this one. The national team known for the tactical philosophy called total football is the Netherlands. The Netherlands. The Netherlands. The Dutch. The Netherlands. The Netherlands. I would have said, like, because total football sounds like efficient, you know, so I'm like, that sounds like a German machine, but it's the Netherlands. Total football. Alright, question number 14. I knew this one because I think goalkeepers should have a lot more recognition. Who was the first goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or, the Golden Ball, which is supposed to crown the best player of the year? Who was the first goalkeeper? And it's actually kind of crazy that I feel like this was the only goalkeeper. I don't know if there was another one to do it. So like this person is like cemented in history as like, I feel like should be known as the best goalkeeper of all time. I feel like that's debatable. I feel like we should give him some respect here. Here's a hint. He's from Russia, I believe. He's from Russia. Damn, I really don't know much. I'm just saying a lot of stuff that could be wrong. The answer is Lev Yashin. Lev Yashin. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I believe he wore a hat, which is kind of cool. A goalkeeper with a hat. Nothing says I'm taking this game very casual than wearing a hat. Alright, and last question of the hard category, question number 15. Which club has played the most UEFA Champions League finals without ever winning one? I'm going to give you guys some time to think about that while I get some water and think about how sad that is. It doesn't tell me how many. I want to know how many they've been. I think it's at least 3. Imagine going to the finals. You're so excited. But then you get defeated. So next time you go there, you say, let's not, make the same mistake twice. Let's learn from it. You get defeated again. And then you go again. You say, come on, guys. We gotta win one. And you get defeated again. It's so sad. But at the end of the day, their name is in history because they're now in a ASMR Dano video talking about this very thing. And the club that has been to the most UEFA finals, Champions League finals, without ever winning one is Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid. Not Real Madrid. They've won the most, I believe. Oh wait, that's true, right? I could be wrong, but I think they won the most Champions Leagues. And the team that lost the most finals. Okay, well, that's not right. Lost the most without winning. Yeah. It's Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid. Poor guys. You'll get them next time, Atletico Madrid. You got this. Alright, we're on to the very hard questions now. These you may not know at all, although I think 2 or 3 of these you can guess. Yeah. Question number 16. Which player scored the first goal in World Cup history? This is actually really cool. We know the winner of the first ever one was Uruguay. But which player scored the first goal in World Cup history? Imagine having your name cemented as the very, very first. Here's a hint, which isn't a hint. It was in 1930. We already know that. But it was a French player. And their name was Kylian Mbappe. I'm just kidding. It was Lucien Shout out to the Frenchman, Laurent. Alright, question number 17. I knew this because it's such a crazy fact. Which country withdrew? Okay, they made it, but they said no. Withdrew from the 1950 World Cup due to a dispute about players, or about playing in boots. They wanted to play barefoot, is what I recall when I heard about this fact. 1950 World Cup, they withdrew. They made it, but they said, oh, we're not playing this because we don't want to wear boots. Makes me think, how would they play? Like, how would they have won or gotten far if they didn't withdraw? I guess we'll never know. But the answer is India. And I wonder, I haven't kept up with Indian soccer. I wonder if they have made it to the World Cup since. I don't know, not recently. But it'll be cool to see them back. And hopefully they wear boots. Because otherwise the boots that the other players are going to have are going to hurt like crazy. It's for safety reasons. It's going to hurt. Alright, question number 18. Which legendary manager introduced the Metodo formation in the 1930s? Metodo. Metodo. Metodo formation in the 1930s. I don't know what this formation is. I've never heard of it. And it was in the 1930s. So I feel like the formation and the tactics back then must have been much different than now. But this is a tough question. It's very hard. I would argue it's extremely difficult or expert in the next category, but apparently not. The answer is Vittorio Pozzo. Vittorio Pozzo. Pozzo. It's Pozzo. Pozzo. Like pizza. Pozzo. Pozzo. I won't say Pozzo. It sounds very Italian. I'm assuming it's Italian. That's really cool. I like that. I had to search after this to figure out what that formation is. Alright, question number 19. What national team was nicknamed the Clockwork Orange? The Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange. I'll give you a hint. I'm not a hint, sorry. I'll give you a bonus point if you tell me the era. So like the 2000s, the 1920s. What era were they known as this? I'm assuming based on the list I have here. Side note, Clockwork Orange is a very weird movie. I'll just leave it at that. The answer. Well, here's a hint. Choose a country with orange as their color. It's the one, the only, the Netherlands. Netherlands. Touch. And the era was the 1970s. Which is really cool. Alright, last question of the very hard category. Question number 20. Who is the only player to score in 3 different World Cup finals? Now I'm assuming this is the final game, not the tournament, because sometimes you'll be like, the team is qualified for the World Cup finals, but it's the final tournament, you know what I mean? I believe this is the final in the final games, which is why you don't see Ronaldo in there, you don't see Messi in there, because it's the final games. Both of those players have scored in multiple World Cups, but it's the only player to score in the final game of 3 different World Cups. Got your answer. There was a hint earlier in this quiz where I mentioned 3 of Brazil's World Cups were pretty much won by this one person. And most likely because he scored in each of those finals, it is the one, the only, the king of football. Pele. I will give you a bonus point for each year that he did it. Eusebio. I believe we went to semifinals. I could be wrong, but I think that's what we did. All right, you are done. 20 questions so far. If you have 12 or more, you are, well, if you have more than 12 already, you are much smarter than me. But if you have almost 20, you're almost an expert. You have 5 more questions to try and pull back some points, okay? I'm going to go with the first extremely difficult question. Question number 21. Which 2 teams played in the longest match in World Cup history? Now, this includes a replay. I don't know what circumstances require a replay. I'm going to assume maybe weather, because that's what baseball does. But I'm assuming this includes, well, it says 2 matches, so they played a match and then they replayed a match. I don't know. You don't need to know when, but I'll give you bonus points if you know what World Cup it was. Which is confusing. It says longest match, but it's including the replay. So technically it's 1 match, but they played it twice. Anyway, here's a hint. It's an old game. Got your answer. The 2 teams that played in the longest match was Italy and Spain. And for the bonus point, this was in the 1934 World Cup. So the first World Cup was 1930. This one was the 1934 World Cup. Which is interesting. I wonder back then what the rules were for replays. Why did they replay? I don't think we replay now. They play no matter what. Rain or shine. Okay, question number 22. Who was the first African player to appear in a European Cup? Okay, so it's the European Cup. Champions League in brackets. I'm assuming Champions League was called the European Cup before, maybe. Who was the first African player to appear in a European Cup, also known as the Champions League final? So the European Cup final. Who was the first African player to appear? That's actually very, very cool. I like that. The first African player to appear in a European Cup Champions League final. Bonus points for the team they played for and the year. There's a lot of bonus points because this is actually a tough quiz, so I'm trying to help you guys out a little bit. You could just take a guess, like what year? 1990. You have a chance. What team? Toronto FC. No, that's not a good answer. The answer is, and I hope I don't butcher it, Salif Keita. Salif Keita. Salif Keita. And the I has 2 dots at the top. 2 dots on the top. The year was 1969. With Saint Etienne. Saint Etienne, the French team. Alright, question number 23. Which club was the first to win the Intercontinental Cup? I don't even know what that is. This sounds like intercontinental, so different continents fighting each other, kind of like a World Cup. But for the clubs, we have Club World Cup now, so is that like a similar one? Possibly. Again, bonus points for the year. Which club was the first to win? I will give you a hint. I mentioned this team earlier. I'll give you another hint. They win a lot. They win a lot. The answer is Real Madrid of Spain. Real Madrid. Not the losers, Atletico Madrid. I'm just kidding. I like Atletico Madrid. They had some good players back in the day. Falcao, Joao Felix, Coke, Thiago from Portugal. Who else? My mind's drawing a blank. I feel like there's like a really, really popular one that I'm missing. That's okay. Alright, second last question. Which country won the very first Olympic football gold medal in 1900? 1900. The World Cup first one was 1930, but the first Olympic football event was 1900. is like a bracket saying represented by blank. Like it's like a team. Oh, so maybe back then each country chose a team. Oh, that's cool, because it's saying represented by blank. So they chose a team to play. Oh, that's actually cool. They should do that now. Like the World Cup, or sorry, the Olympic gold. They'll be like, we want. But nowadays, each country, well, each team has international players. So would someone from England want to face, like if they're on a Spanish team, would they want to face England against their own country? Yeah, probably not. But it's cool anyway. The country that won the very first Olympic football gold medal in 1900 is Great Britain. Great Britain. Represented by Upton Park FC. That's pretty cool. Upton Park FC represented Great Britain and took the gold medal home. That's really cool. And last but not least, question number 25. This is actually really, really cool. I didn't know this. I feel like I want to give you a hint. No, actually, I'm not going to give you a hint. Actually, I'm going to give you a hint. I feel like Ronaldo and Messi should have already done this as well. If not, maybe this World Cup will be, 5 separate World Cups. Sorry, I didn't even see the question. Sorry. Did I see the question? I'm going crazy. Which player, sorry, the last question is, which player captained his national team at 5 separate World Cups? 5 separate World Cups. Being the captain. It's not Ronaldo, it's not Messi. But I feel like this would be their 5th World Cup. That's 20 years. Ronaldo's first World Cup was 2026. This will be, oh my god, that's kind of crazy. This will be Ronaldo's 5th World Cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's going to be his 6th World Cup. Okay, yeah, I think he probably was the captain in 2010. So I think Ronaldo will time Marquez. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Should I cut that out? I'm not going to cut that out. The answer is Rafael Marquez from Mexico. I'm so dumb. My mind just slipped. I don't know if I'm falling asleep or what. The winner, the answer is Rafael Marquez from Mexico. I think Ronaldo will be captaining. I think he was captain 2010. He'll be captaining his 5th national team. If he plays, and if he's on the squad, and if they want to give him the captaincy, they may not, because again, he's 41 years old. They may put him on the bench, and you can't have a captain on the bench. Although, if he comes off the bench and they give him the captain's band, technically I think that counts. So, I think Messi will also have the captain's armband as well. So I think he will join the list as well. But the only player, to captain his national team at 5 separate World Cups is Rafael Marquez of Mexico. Mexico. Which is actually crazy. That means Marquez must have played a lot of years. Because you most likely don't captain your first World Cup. But maybe he did. Maybe he was just so great that he's like, you know what? First World Cup, you're the captain. Take us home. He was a great defender. If it's the person I'm thinking about, he was a great defender. Alright. Did you answer all of them correctly? Did you get at least 20 and are considered an expert now? Or did you get 13 or more and are smarter than me? Or did you get 12 or less and are the same as me? Same smartness in terms of soccer or football. That's okay. Regardless, I hope you had a great time and a fun time. Let me know which question or which topic you want me to make a trivia about next. It could be absolutely anything. I hope you enjoyed it, whether you like soccer or football or not. I hope you relaxed or fell asleep and are just not listening right now because you're off in dreamland thinking about Atletico Madrid losing so many times. Poor guy. got right. And if someone out there got 25 out of 25 correct, I will pin your comment. No, you have to prove it. You can't prove it. And I'll pin it anyway. Why not? But you deserve a star of being the most knowledgeable about soccer or football or football or however else you say it. Alright, have a good night, everyone. Have a good sleep. And take care of yourself. Remember, you are loved. You are enough.